I'm Jen.
And I'm Craig.
And this is the Knock Project. And last week we talked about distractions and all the things that pull us away from who God called us to be, what God called us to do, what we really truly enjoy and brings life. Because, Facebook doesn't always bring life, right? Video games don't always bring life. Football, however, brings life. Wouldn't you say?
For the most part.
For the most part, except when you lose. But we did not lose last week. Or this week, yesterday. So anyway, fun times. So today, we're going to be talking about priorities. So the truth is that sometimes our priorities on paper do not live out as they do in real life. Wouldn't you say?
Correct.
So give us an example of that.
So an example would be how you tell someone that it's important to you that you accomplish something. I don't know, like they take out the trash or something like that, and you don't do it for 3 days. Well, what you're communicating to the person who made that commitment to is that it's not important to you. And things that are important to you is what you spend time on and with. So that's kind of, think of time as your currency, and you buy things that are of value to you with your time. There's an article somewhere that talked about how if you were to really do that, it would kind of be an eye-opening experience. But we want to do something a little bit more simple, which is to look at, we all have roles that we play in our lives and our relationships. You could be a husband or a father,
an employee,
wife,
son, daughter.
Yeah, I mean, these are all if you think about it, you have all these different roles that you have that are assigned to you in life, or that you take on in life. So we thought it would be a real interesting exercise, and this is not something that we came up with. This is something that it's a kind of combination of different things. There's a blog that I follow called The Art of Manliness, really good, Scott McKay. And then Stephen Covey also does a similar exercise in his work. But what you want to do is you want to take a sheet of paper and
we are actually going to put this on the blog when it comes out this week, if you want kind of a tangible way to
for those of you who know Jen, she's got to have a system. So it doesn't have to be a system. It could be something as simple and as accessible as a sheet of paper and a pen or pencil. So what you want to do is you want to take that piece of paper or the lovely form that's been created here, and you want to list out the roles in your life that you've taken on and that you think that you fill, and you do that first. And then
it should take you around 3 to 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to rush through it. You really want to think about on your day-to-day, like things that when you think about yourself and like your day-to-day activities, you want to think about those and make sure you list them all. Because part 2 of that is to then take that list and prioritize them in order of importance to you.
Right.
Once you do that, and preferably you're doing this with your spouse. But
you're not talking. The first part of the rules, you're just doing that by yourself. And then you list out your top, you take those, all the top part, all the rules, then you're going to prioritize. You're going to say, this is how I feel like I live my life out. And if somebody was looking at my life, they would see that my priorities are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the part that you do with your spouse is, then what we want you to do is we want you to kind of be a mirror to your spouse. And if you are looking into their life, this is what you would assume that their priorities are, that they would say that their priorities are. Or maybe not that they would say it, but however you see them prioritizing. So when Craig and I did this activity, it was at a really busy season of work for him. And it killed me because I was like, I could just tell that work right then was his number 1 priority. And I was really nervous about writing that down because I was afraid that he might be defensive and, right?
I can be defensive.
Okay. And that I was trying to speak truth into how his life was shaping up. And it was a little nerve-wracking. But we had a great conversation because our spouses have this awesome capability of being a mirror and reflecting back to us how we're really living, because your spouse knows you and sees you on your very, very best of times and your very, very worst of times. And so it's just kind of a way to bounce back the ideas. Well, if I say God is my number one priority, or if I say my kids or my husband are, he has a really good window into whether or not that's actually happening, whether or not my words are matching up with my actions. And we all know that actions speak way louder than words, right?
Yep.
So we've also come up with this little handy dandy worksheet here. It's not really a worksheet, it's just a reminder. It's how do you have conversation where things might bring up a little sense of defensiveness, or how do you say things that aren't in the form of accusatory fashion, but to really speak and listen with love. And so this is the LOVE, a posture or frame of mind that's helping to build and deepening a foundation of trust in your marriage. And so this will also be out on the blog this week with the video to kind of help you sit in that posture of having open, honest conversations about how you guys are really living your life and making sure that your marriage is one of those top priorities there.
So we hope you guys have some really good conversations this week, and next week we'll continue with this topic with the next phase.
All right, y'all have a great week.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.